Welcome to the Wrexham Coffee Matchup. I'm Dave.
And I'm Courtney. Each week, we'll take a few minutes to catch up on the latest news from Wrexham. From matchups to transfers, on and off the pitch, we'll share our takes on it all.
So grab a coffee and join us.
Hey Dave, welcome back.
Yeah, good to see you. I feel like we haven't really talked that much this week because there were no matches to talk about.
I know. It's a strange situation after having so many matches back to back to now have nothing. It's strangely, eerily quiet.
Yeah, so it was the international break, and that's when teams who have players who are called up to their national squads go off for 8 to 10 days, and then they have matches on the international scale, and then we'll be back with our regular league matches starting October 18th. But we've played 9 matches so far in the championship. 9 so far, and this is our 9th episode, so ironic how that worked out.
Hey.
The timing was not exactly in sync, and really technically we'll talk about this again. This is really our 10th episode, but we'll come back to that one.
It's just the 9th.
Just the 9th. So I just thought maybe we could spend a little time and sort of talk about what are our thoughts and impressions overall of the team so far and the matches that we've seen.
Yeah. So where do we sit in the table?
We sit 18th.
18th.
Which, the number wise doesn't sound great, but we're quite a number of points ahead of the bottom of the table.
Okay.
So Sheffield Wednesday and Sheffield United are still at the bottom of the table. We've started to make some really nice, we had 3 ties in a row, 3 draws in a row. So I think we're heading in the right direction. And so it's just a matter of, like you said, there's still 37 more matches to go before the season's over. So we have a very long time between now and May. But we'll see how it's going.
Yeah. We definitely need to get a few more points. We definitely need to get a few more wins. We definitely need to get a win at home. But I wouldn't say that this is a disappointing start.
No, I think we're doing better than most people thought we would be doing at this point. And I think we're seeing one thing that's really struck me is that, we talked about the 13 new signings that came in over the summer between, July and September 1st deadline, but they didn't come in all at once. They came in over an extended period of time with quite a gap in the middle of the signings. And I think what we're seeing is that those signings who came in at the end, those last couple signings that we had, are really starting to make their way integrating into the team. So Kabore, Broadhead, Sheaf, and Hyam have been getting good playing time over the last couple matches. And I think they're still starting to find their spot on the team. But then there's the players who've been there since July, since the Australia trip, the players who returned from last season. So it's almost like we're watching a different team than what we started with nine matches ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And then I think there's still a couple of players that we're maybe trying to see how and where do they fit in now, or will they fit in when they come back?
Right.
Liberato Cacace, where is he going to fit in? Whose spot will he potentially take if he starts? What about Connor Cody? What will his role be?
Right. Cody specifically, I know because Cacace's still recovering from his injury.
Right.
And we saw a little bit of him before he went out on injury. Hopefully he's close to returning, so we can find out what happens. But it's the interesting thing about Connor Cody. I see 2 things there. One is that we brought in Danny Ward to be the primary goalie at the beginning of the season. And so he started with Cody right in front of him as defense. And they seem to have a really good communication style together, where they were making good impacts on the defense in the area of the field, right? When Ward goes out, Arthur came back, and Arthur seemed to have a very different style in how he's interacting with the players. And that, combined with the speed of the other additions, seems like Cody really lost his place after a few matches. And I don't know where he'll fit, especially with, other people coming in. Like we've seen Hyam in the back, who's making nice impressions, even though I still haven't quite learned what his face looks like.
One day.
One day we'll learn. So yeah, it's going to be interesting over this next couple of weeks. I think between now and Christmas is really going to be the time where we see sort of the who fits, how they fit, and who doesn't fit. Just another one that I wanted to mention was that Hardy was the very first person we signed.
Yeah.
And he made the trip to Australia. He, was sort of up there up front. And I think it was intended that he would be the lead striker. And by the time we signed Moore and Broadhead and Windass, like those roles have all sort of shifted, and Moore's really standing out, like heads above everybody else in terms of his physicality. So with we haven't even seen Hardy come in as the sub. That's been relying on Sam Smith. So Sam Smith's been playing the Fletcher role, right? The relief role. So it'd be interesting, like I said, just to see how it shakes out over the next couple of weeks.
Well, that, and, will Arthur keep his spot when Danny's back? Potentially at the start of the year, will that shake things up? And if it does, will that cause other changes, right? Would Connor Cody then come back? Of course, way too early to tell, but I think there are a lot of questions that remain unanswered.
Right. And I would say of the 13, I wouldn't be surprised if not all 13 make it through the whole season with the team, whether they get loaned out or whether they get released, just because of how you never know how it's all going to shake out together. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think we are sitting in a very, oh my gosh, let me knock on all of the wood in my home right now. I think we are sitting in a very fortunate position that we don't have a lot of injuries. I don't know how many would be released, because what do you do, right, in that situation? Right. But certainly we're already starting to see the people emerge who, are clearly, I don't want to say the favorites, but clearly the ones who are getting the playing time. And it's clear the ones that for the moment have a much more minor role on the team.
Right. And speaking of injuries and coming back, we're still waiting with anticipation for Ollie Rathbone's return. Lewis O'Brien and George Dobson have both been playing incredibly well in the midfield, but adding Rathbone and his energy back into it, that'll again shift the whole dynamic. And I can't wait to see what he does and how he fits in.
I really hope he's back at our next match versus Stoke City.
Oh, that would be exciting. That would be something to look forward to. Our Ollie Watch 2.0 continues. Yeah.
Exactly.
Speaking of players who haven't necessarily gotten playing time, there's one player that does stick out to me. I did a little stats dive, and I started looking into the minutes, and I found a great website that every week updates how many minutes each player on each team has played. And I only looked at the league matches. I didn't look at the cup matches. And it struck me that Elliot Lee has not played a minute of championship football yet this season. And in my mind, he had, because he played the 2 cup matches, but it's kind of like, it's what we had worried would happen to Ollie Palmer or Jack Marriott if they hadn't left and gone to another team. And here we have Elliot not being able to get into the squad, which is really unfortunate because, like we mentioned, he's one of the only 4 who are part of that back-to-back squad that remain with the team. And we know Andy Cannon's still out on injury, probably won't be back for a while. So that just has left Max Cleworth and Ryan Barnett to be in the match. And they both have made significant contributions this year.
Well, I think Max Cleworth has played every minute of every match since the beginning of the season.
Right. Which is amazing when you think about that. He first played for Wrexham at age 19.
Yeah.
After coming up through the junior squads. And he was in that last National League season when he started. So he has been in all 4 squads, had significant playing time. And I saw something also interesting it was on a different site. Since Parkey took over, this is Parkey's 5th season. Max now has the 3rd most appearances of any player under Parkey.
Okay.
Which is, so
all right.
Who do you think?
Let me think. First, I want to say was Paul Mullen.
Yes, it was.
Okay. Yes. Second, still on the team now?
No.
That would have made it too easy. Second, it wasn't Ollie Palmer.
It was Ollie Palmer, yes.
Okay.
So Ollie played at just over 150 matches.
Mhm.
And I think Mullins did close to 180. And Max is just creeping up to the 150 mark. He'll hit it this season.
Wow.
And to have played every minute of every match this season is just amazing. Amazing for a young guy who's really showing what he's worth. You know?
And really growing up with this team, right?
Right. Yeah. There's one other person who's not been with us for too long. He's in his second season now, but George Dobson has also played every minute of every match this season. And there was an interesting interview that I saw with him last week where he had spent 9 years in League One in various different teams. And so he was brought in when we came to League One because he was the solid League One experience who could help contribute to the team. And he did amazingly last year and continues to do amazingly this year. And he mentioned that he thought that he would have to fight really hard to get a place on the squad this year because he had never played in the championship. And so every week he goes out there and goes to show that he can do it. And clearly he's been showing it because he's been playing incredibly well.
Wow. Oh, I didn't know that. That's really great. That's really great for him. Yeah, I think just going back to the point that you made earlier about our dear friend that we've never met, Elliot Lee. He feels like a dear friend. That was really, as we were, creeping up to September 1st, to the week after September 1st, that was the one that I was like preparing myself for. I think the writing was on the wall for Ollie Palmer. As much as we hoped that he would play that Stephen Fletcher role, not just relief. I heard you kind of correct yourself before about Sam Smith being the Fletcher role, but saying, well, to come in and be relief, because I think Stephen Fletcher obviously did so much more than that. And we had really hoped that would be Ollie Palmer. I think we knew deep down the writing was on the wall there. The one that I was kind of steeling myself up for was Elliot Lee. I was a little bit surprised that he stayed in the team, to be honest, only from the standpoint of him not having played in any league matches. Right. So yeah, I hate to see it.
Well, let's see what happens. Cause he's out there still, training with the team and and we have cup matches coming. We have a cup match coming up at the end of the month. So I don't think we've seen the last of him. It's just disappointing to me how much we've seen him contribute to the team that he's not there on the bench this year. So.
Yeah. Now that we have the international match this week, we don't have new matches to speak about. Should we talk a little bit about ourselves? Should we talk about why we started this podcast?
We don't talk about ourselves enough, I don't think.
No, not nearly.
It really came up on a whim. If you think about it, you hear stories about people who create podcast ideas and they rehearse and they practice, and there's months and months between when you announce it and when they actually launch it. I think that the thought process for us was probably about 1 week from when we discussed it to when we actually started pulling this together.
And I think that was in part influenced by shipping times for ring lights and microphones.
Right. And the season was just kicking off, and we thought, oh, this is a good time as any. We both always have a lot to say. We both really deeply care about the team, and we're more and more engaging with the online socials community who are also fans of the team. So that makes another fun aspect. But I think for me, it was just this 2025 has been a very incredibly challenging year for a lot of people. But living in Los Angeles, I work for a university that's funded by the federal government. Read between the lines. I just need a little bit of something for myself and something to keep me closer to you because, we live 6,000 miles apart and it's not always easy to communicate. Like I mentioned before, we have an endless text stream, but it doesn't always lead to full conversations. So other than our trips once a year to Wrexham or other chances we get to see each other, this is I thought a great way for us to get together and just kind of have time for us in something that we both love.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you kind of floated the idea. I want to say you floated the idea once before. So when we talked about it and said, okay, we're going to do it, I think that was August, kind of mid-August. I want to say maybe in July, you'd kind of tossed out the idea to see what I would say. It was probably in the period of time that we had family visiting, and it was like, oh yeah, that sounds interesting. And then we came back to it a couple of weeks later. But yeah, for me, it's the same. I mean, really, our love of this team has grown from watching the documentary. It's been a very challenging year for me as well. I lost a very dear friend of mine, of both of ours, in May, and I really felt like I needed some connection. Being so far away from you, my closest friend, this felt like a really nice way to, feel more connected.
And now we're bringing people on that journey with us, so which I love, and getting some very nice feedback from people that we had only tangentially talked to before. So the fact that even 2 people are interested in what we have to say is amazing to me, and it's a slightly larger number of that. And we have our mental target for as long as we reach a certain number, we keep going, and we've done that every week. And we don't need to say that out loud, but
nope.
No. Yes.
But what we can say out loud,
Yes.
I can admit this, the story of the first episode. So you said not really 9 episodes, but it is 9 episodes.
9 that exist in the world. Let's put it that way.
9 that exist as full episodes.
Yes.
So I am on my phone way too much. I know this. I actively think about trying to use it less. I try to think of ways that can help me to use it less. So I do use the do not disturb sort of nighttime features on my phone. And one of the things that's just like a blanket sort of setting is that 9 p.m. is my do not disturb time. And I have a couple of apps that I have set as exceptions to that, but otherwise all my other apps turn off. We started recording, I want to say 5 minutes to 9. I was using my back camera for that first episode. I mean, I still am now. So I could not see the front screen. And we get through our whole first episode and I go to look at my phone and I realized that I got those first 5 minutes and that was it.
And we had to sort of make an instant decision, like right then and there. Like, okay, do we just forget this or do we do it all over again? And we decided to go ahead and we just immediately redid the entire episode, but much to the better, because I'm the first to admit that I'm used to working in an academic environment. I'm used to everything being scripted out, and presentations are scripted, and the PowerPoints that you use have all the information on them so that if someone's listening later or someone's watching later, they can kind of fill in the story. And so it was to the point where I scripted everything I wanted to say, to the point where I was like narrating and we were talking at each other as opposed to each other. And I think we quickly adapted first in the rewatch, but then each week we've gotten a little more refined on how we're able to sort of carry on the conversation, which I think is great as 2 complete non-professionals in this world.
Yes.
That we have this natural dynamic that we'll just lean into that and go with it.
Yeah. So since it was still the same topic, I stand by it's only 9 episodes, but it's definitely a whole missing episode.
Well, let's just say it took us a lot longer to film that first one than all the other ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I do want to just tell a little story if I have a moment here.
Okay.
So one of the things that we've really admired ever since the beginning of the documentary was sort of the connection between Wrexham and the community, right? The football club and the community. And over time, they've done some really wonderful things for the community. We've noticed this on our return visits that the town is growing. People are going, we have gone to visit the Rexford Mining Memorial, and last year we had coffee and tea at the Rexford Mining rescue site. So remember this year, Humphrey, he ran the Manchester Marathon to support the Wrexham Miners Project. And Rob and Ryan, they also expand that sort of interaction to a broader community. So as I mentioned, like in January, LA was hit by really bad wildfires, both in Pacific Palisades and the Altadena area. And that was a really traumatic, tragic time for several weeks. And right after I got back from my last trip in February of last year, February 2025, I had been to see the Birmingham City match at Wrexham. I got home and they announced that they were charity auctioning off the shirts that were worn during that match. And so I bid and I won this shirt that I'm wearing here, which is my Jack Marriott. This is my Jack Marriott shirt, where the money went to the LA Firefighters Foundation. Yeah. And that one was a huge, I mean, you think about it, people were buying a Paul Mullen shirt, an Ollie Palmer shirt, an Elliot Lee shirt. They raised something like $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 for the LA Firefighters.
And all the money went to
all the money on the bid money through there's this website called Match Worn Shirts, and they run the official auctions and then they donate the money to the charity. So that was a good thing. So like when a couple weeks ago, shortly after the Carabao Cup match, they announced a new auction on a smaller scale that is benefiting the Wrexham Miners Project, which I think they've done a great job trying to keep the connection to the accident alive, and sort of they'll be putting one of the mining wheels at the new COP when it's built. So in honor of, you have a big birthday coming up. We don't have to say the number.
Thanks.
But I bid on your behalf a shirt that was worn during the Carabao Cup against Reading. And so I think you have it there. And
I do. Okay. Okay, so I have this nice match worn shirt box.
Okay.
Oop. All right. Congratulations, it says. All right. I'm going to pull this. I don't want to pull it out too much.
I haven't even really noticed the new shirts this year, so this will be...
So the one thing that I've noticed is that the logo, the emblem is in the middle. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. This was... Matty James.
in honor of your Matty James awakening.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I do want to I dropped something on the floor. There's this nice, you are now the exclusive owner of a unique and irreplaceable match worn shirt. Your product embodies all of the drama and intensity of a specific moment in sporting history. Oh my gosh, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Oh, I love it. I want to unfold it, but I also don't want to, right?
Yes. So I wore mine. Oh, that looks great. Yeah. I wore mine to when I went to COSM, the Dome, to watch the Wrexham match with my staff. And my first thought was I was completely shocked that I could wear a shirt that was worn by Jack Marriott, because he's a 5'7" guy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What size is that? I'm curious.
This is a size large.
Okay. So
I can tell that it was worn during the match.
What does it smell like? Is it cologned up, or is it?
No.
Okay. It's dirty.
Nope.
Right?
I'm not going to get closer to it, and that's
Okay.
fine. The other the other thing I'm noticing compared to the one that you're wearing, I
Mhm.
think, are the like pinstripes. They seem quite wide apart, and I don't know if yours has stripes. If this
No,
one,
mine has scales.
okay. Oh,
Yeah.
which I love that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is wow. This is really great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Okay, so coming up next, like we mentioned, on Saturday, October 18th, is our next league match. It'll be the first of 7 matches over a 3-week period, so it's going to be another very intense window. We'll be playing at Stoke City away. We've never played. The last time we've won at Stoke City was in the FA Cup back in 2015. And the last time we played them was in 2019. So it's been quite a while since we played them. Stoke City is actually quite close to Wrexham. It's about 40 to 45 miles. And we know that because on our last trip, we were lucky enough to be there when the Gladstone Pottery Factory was open. And so we spent an afternoon in Stoke fulfilling our fantasy of pretending we were on the pottery throwdown.
Yes. And saying, I know where that is. I've seen that before. Oh, this is where they film this part. Yeah.
Yes. So Stoke is currently 5th in the standings. So they're quite high up on the table after the 9 matches. They had a really strong start to the season, but they haven't won a match in the past 4 matches. So it'll be curious to see sort of like us, what trajectory they're on and what we bring to that match. So we're looking forward to that, and we'll tell you all about it next time.
So basically, both teams are not in a must-win situation, but they're definitely looking for a win after
Absolutely.
a series of draws or a series of, is it losses in their case?
I think they have 3 draws and a loss in their last 4 matches.
So
yeah.
All right. Well, we'll talk about that next week. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for joining us this week. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
You can also email us at wxmcoffeematchup@gmail.com. All one word, that's wxmcoffeematchup@gmail.com. Or you can follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky at wxmcoffeematchup.
From the cop to your coffee cup, that's all for today's Wrexham Coffee Matchup. Keep it brewing, keep it red, and as always, up the town.